On today's video, we're going to be taking care of a few little of the bits and pieces and stuff to get the frame all finished up and ready for disassembly. So we got a few more suspension parts and some brackets right there. And yeah, we'll get her done. Okay, we got the pan hard bar with the new bushings installed. We had to add a washer to the outside of that because these holes were originally slotted. So that's all good to go. Now we got to jack it up and then make our shock tabs. So let's jack her up, honey. Got the two bracket tabs made for the top, all out of paper. So now we got to trace them out and then cut them out of steel. Okay, here's the upper brackets. This is the one for the right side. They kind of look like they got driven over, but works out pretty good. I got the tacks on here because I fucked up where I put it and I had to bust it off and move it to the right spot, but got it figured out now. So got the shocks all installed now, lower mounts, and then as we lowered it, if you see here this little curve part, we just had to lightly clearance it as we came down. Everything looks like it'll clear pretty good. It does get a little bit close here on the stop, so I may need to carve a little bit out of that corner for the spring. We got the bump stops back installed again now, so bump stops here, and then you got the hard stop behind it. And let's see, pan hard bar, everything's leveled out, checked full travel. So last thing we got left is I need the sway bar to show up, and that mounts onto the rear diff, and then that'll come up and mount somewhere around where the top of the shock is. So that's the very last piece to fit into the rear suspension. And obviously we need springs on it yet, but I have to figure out the size of them. Yeah, get a good overview. Show the other side better. The other side's got better welds. Here's a good angle on it. Just the whole thing. There, it gives you a pretty good idea. Okay, I got everything clearanced out for both the front shocks, and hopefully this will help someone someday. But they do make a kit for coilovers for the Typhoon and the Cyclone, and from what I read, those do fit, I guess, on the regular four-wheel drives, but that kit definitely would not fit in this ZR2, at least the one I have. What I ended up doing is, so the bottom bracket where the shock goes, that ends up going, oh, there we go. That ends up going all the way over as far to the front as it can. And then the top here, I'll make a proper spacer, but for right now I was just using washers so I could adjust it. So that ends up sitting not quite midway, it's still a little bit towards the back. And then you got to take a torch and heat it up and spread out. Come on, focus. You got to spread out this part of the mount. You can kind of see how it's spread out there. And then there's some extra ridges down here at the bottom of the pocket, so I heated those up with the torch and flattened them out. And then I just added a bead of weld around the inside to strengthen it up because it's not welded on very solid from the factory. And the only other thing that's really in your way, I can't see it now anymore, but there is a bracket that comes in for the stop and then connects up to here. So I had to cut that bracket off shorter and then peel the rest of the bracket off of this wall here. Works really good with a air hammer and a chisel end in it. Peeled the weld right off the frame without hurting the frame. I barely had to touch it to clean it up a little bit. Yeah, and then of course you got your A-arm stuff to get clearanced, and I clearanced this one a little bit. You can kind of see what I cut out of there. This side's got a little bit more that it could go. but I'm not gonna finish clearancing it until I actually get the alignment set. So once I get my camber and caster set, you know, obviously that'll change how far this is pulled in or out, and I'll set it again, or I'll regrind this to match perfectly with wherever it ends up with the alignment. And a little trick I came up with that worked pretty slick was I 3D printed these sleeves here. So just 3D printed a sleeve that has the same OD as the springs and the same ID as the shock body. So that allowed me to check my clearance all the way around. I got like a 1/16 of an inch, maybe a little bit better, maybe as much as close to 100 thou. It's pretty tight all the way around, but it does clear. And this shock is made for a 2.5 inch spring, but I'm gonna have to cut the seats down on the lathe and run a 2 1/4 spring because there's just no way to fit a 2.5 up here. I could cut the whole shock tower off and remake that to fit a 2.5 inch spring, but I still have clearance problems down below here. So yeah, the 2.5 spring, no matter where you stick this, it kind of either ends up hitting the drive shaft or the steering. It gets pretty tight all the way around, but the 2 1/4 at least fits. Because yeah, the 2 1/4 largest spring that they have is just a pinch over 3.5 inches. It's like 3.520 or something like that is the biggest one that they make. Versus in a 3/4, or I mean a 2.5 inch, you're looking at like 3 3/4, and there's just not enough room to squeak that much in there. But yeah, hopefully that helps somebody out. It can be done, just a little bit of heating and moving. Doesn't really require any custom parts, just moving what's there already. And these are QA1 501 shocks that I'm running in the front. That's what ended up fitting well. So all right, hopefully it helps somebody out. Okay, finished up the rest of the battery box. So I rounded off some of the nasty corners and then did a top strap on there. And I rounded off the corners on the plate down below. There's not a ton of clearance, but there's enough. So yeah, it should be pretty easy to change all of that. A guy can reach up from underneath the truck and get to the terminals, and then once you get the terminals disconnected, you gotta pull out these 3 bolts here, and then the 1 bolt back here, and then the whole tray will drop out the bottom of the truck. Stick a new battery onto the tray, and then throw the tray and the battery back up in there and hook up the terminals. So kind of a pain in the ass, but at least it's out of sight. I didn't want any shit laying around in the box of the truck. I mean, this is a street driven unit, so I'm not going to eat up the box of the truck with a bunch of bullshit. All right, just got our sway bar installed on here. This is the Bilstein bar. You can see the number there. We level out the mounts here. We had to change out the different U-bolts because the ones that came in the kit, they fit fine on the tube out here, but not on the larger inner diameter. And when we put it out here, there wasn't enough room for it to fit. So ended up having to move it in. The perfect spot would actually be like right on this radius where it transitions from big to small. But it seems to work okay just on the edge of that tube there. And I'll probably weld these in. I'm not sure if I am going to yet or not. Maybe I'll do just like 2 tack welds so it's easy enough to break off if need be. But the sway bar actually fit pretty damn good. Didn't really have to modify anything other than changing out the clamps that came in the box. And we got it set at ride height right now. So I'm just figuring out what length links I need and where I have to put the mounts for the links. So right now my sway bar's level and even with the ground. So somewhere in this range. It really doesn't matter that much if it's level at ride height or not. I mean, you can mount it up here or down further or whatever the hell you want. It really doesn't matter a whole lot. But at this rough height here, at least everything cleared along the back when we came all the way up. So I'll probably go up a little bit higher, like probably right around here at ride height, like just above the bottom of the tire. And that's a little bit of an uphill slope here, but ensures that I have enough room back there. So yeah, we just gotta take some measurements and figure out where I'm gonna weld on a tab for the other end of this. All right, got mounts and everything all done. Just dropped the spare tire, and I don't know, I'm still not 100% sure what I want to do about the spare tire situation. It definitely saves us some weight to have that thing out of here, along with the mount for it. My biggest problem though is with the exhaust. I can make it fit, and I guess I could get the exhaust to fit, but it'd literally have to come here and make like a sharp 90 and shoot down to get under the spare tire, and that's just fucking gay. So the only other option is I can come through this little hole right here, and I could do a side exit, or I just get rid of the spare tire. And if I get rid of the spare tire, it does give me some nice shit, an ass load of options to put the surge tank pretty much anywhere that I want. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It looks so weird now. Like, I worked so hard to jam all of this shit in here and finally came down to exhaust. That was the thing that's gonna fuck me. Everything else fit. Oh yeah, I gotta tack weld them brackets on there too. And then I think that's it. And then strip the whole thing down and send the frame off to get blasted and powder coated. So yeah, we'll tack that and that'll be the end of her. As you can see, I decided to get rid of the spare tire, and it opened up a heck of a lot more room back there. I also lost some weight by cutting out some of those other cross members and then welding this one in here. Okay, I got the surge tank bracket all done. Turned out pretty good. So that there mounts. Mounts down on like this. We gotta set the level right. Get the angle in the right spot. But yeah, it should work out pretty good. Just a nice little shelf. And that surge tank will sit right in here. Run our lines up through the frame. And we still got enough room like behind the surge tank and off in this corner. I'm gonna be putting the muffler somewhere back here. I'm not real sure where I'm gonna do the hangers or nothing yet. It'll probably, actually I guess the muffler will probably end up hanging on the bottom of these two right here. So yeah, we'll come into the muffler, and then we can kind of make a sweep, pop the pipe out that way. I don't know, I'll see when we get to that point. But I'm definitely gonna keep this over this way as far as I can. All right, we'll get her welded in. All right, as you can see, the frame is all finished getting modified. Got all the cross members and everything cut out, different ones welded in, and so on and so forth. And now it's off to the powder coat. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. We got the frame obviously sent off to the powder coater, and we've got it back a while ago already. I'll put a picture up here or something. So in the next video that we're gonna post, that's basically all like engine building stuff. I think there's, what is it, engine, tranny, front diff, and I don't think I have any videos of the rear diff. I think I lost a lot of those of putting that together. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying, and if you're not, well, go fuck yourself.